Okay, well, it's been a while since I've posted a video on the Book of Mormon survey, and I've just recently finished the second book in the Book of Mormon, so I'm ready to do that. Not surprisingly, immediately after First Nephi comes Second Nephi. That's the title of the second book in the Book of Mormon. Alright, so in Second Nephi, it starts off with Lehi talking to his family, and he's talking to them about how he's going to be dying soon, and he does that for several chapters. Then Lehi dies in chapter 4. Before he dies, though, he prophesies of Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon. Or rather, he tells of the biblical Joseph from the book of Genesis, his prophecies to that effect. Now, these prophecies of the biblical Joseph are not contained in the Bible. This is something that is unique to the Book of Mormon, I suppose. Then the Lamanites and the Nephites physically separate, and the skin of the Lamanites turns black as a judgment from God. The Nephites build a temple they leave the Lamanites, go into the wilderness, and while in the wilderness they build a temple. Now, you remember from First Nephi that Layman and Nephi were brothers, the sons of Lehi. So Nephi is a godly, a God-fearing man. Layman is a rather wicked man, for the most part. And the descendants, the physical genetic descendants of Layman tend to be like Layman, and the descendants of Nephi tend to be like Nephi in the Book of Mormon. So the Lamanites and the Nephites split. Nephi's still alive at this point, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think Layman is as well. So they separate, and as I said, the Nephites build a temple in the wilderness. And then Jacob, who is a brother of Nephi, whom we haven't really met before, he was born, I guess after, I believe after they arrived to in America, Lehi and his family. But at any rate, he's not one of the four sons mentioned in First Nephi. So Jacob is a brother of Nephi, and he was a high priest, and he is, I guess, at the temple in the wilderness, and he is preaching from the book of Isaiah in the Bible. So that goes on for quite a few chapters. Then, beginning in chapter 12 of 2nd Nephi, Nephi starts writing down starts copying over the book of Isaiah, chapters 2 through 14, writing them on his plates, and he does that until chapter 24. And then in chapter 25, Nephi explains Isaiah 2 through 14 and/or offers some prophecies of his own. Prophecies about the Mormon, things of significance in the Mormon faith. That goes on for several chapters. Then in chapter 31, he talks about baptism as the gate to the narrow road. So when a person is, you'll recall in the New Testament, Jesus says that the road to hell is very broad. There's many people who find that, but the road to heaven is very narrow. There's very few who find it. So according to Nephi in 2nd Nephi, baptism, you're baptized. That's the gate which gets you onto this narrow road. And then in the next chapter he talks about prayer and glossolalia, glossolalia being speaking in tongues. And then the final chapter, Nephi concludes his book, encouraging one and all to heed his words, and he claims that if we believe in Christ, we shall also believe in him. That is, if we believe in Christ, we'll believe in Nephi, in what Nephi has to say. So if we believe in Christ, we believe Nephi's words. All right. Well, the second chapter, as I was reading through this book again, Second Nephi, I noticed that chapter 2 seems quite important in the Mormon faith. So I thought I'd just read chapter 2 of 2 Nephi and conclude with that, this book. And I should say too, for the next several books, the speed's going to pick up because the next you got 1st and 2nd Nephi, and then after that the books are fairly short until we get to Mosiah. And then Alma is really long. And then after that, the books become shorter again. So, 1st and 2nd Nephi are a bit longer than the other books preceding the book of Mosiah. And let's see. I should mention as well when it takes place. 2nd Nephi. I guess kind of picks up where 1st Nephi leaves off. And at the end of 2nd Nephi, it is, let's see here, okay, it is 544 BC at the end of 2nd Nephi. 544 BC. Alright, so 2nd Nephi chapter 2, 30 verses long. I will read that in video number 2. Shalom out.